Today's episode, we go deep with a real estate agent out of Fresno who is a top producing agent and also an investor. I've got two top agents who have done that. They've done good enough business, strong enough business that they've been able to take the proceeds and invest it in real estate. If that's been an aspiration for you, got into this business so you could actually build wealth, not just work forever on transactions, but over time build wealth that gives you a recurring income stream, a passive income stream, then this episode is for you. I'm excited to introduce you to today's special guest. How do those of us in the real estate industry with crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we simultaneously seek success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddard, and this is the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. All right, welcome back, everybody, to today's episode. Again, today we are focusing on the realtor who sells and invests. We have a very special guest. But first, let me remind you that I have a lovely co-host, Stephanie Peck. Stephanie, thanks for joining us again today. Good to see you.
Hello. I am so excited for today. I'm going to be learning a lot.
You and I both. You've got me all excited about Parminder. I've spent enough time with him to get to know him. To where I think he's pretty amazing as well. So let's go ahead and introduce Parminder the Realtor out of Fresno, California. Parminder, such a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you. My honor to be on your show.
Give us a quick background. How long have you been in the business, and what caused you to want to become? In fact, let's just answer that first question. I'll just give you one at a time.
All right. I'm in my 16th year of selling real estate.
Okay, love it. 16 years selling real estate. There came a point actually before you got into real estate that made you say, I'm going to get into real estate. Just tell us quickly what that was. What made you say, I got to be in this industry?
My wife actually told me. And she said, I need to be in real estate, and that's the truth. And so I avoided it for many, many years after we got married. And she's the one that said, I need to be in it. Fits my personality and how I like being around people. And the rest is history. I finally found my passion in life.
Like any smart husband would. When your wife says to do something, you just do it.
Had I listened a little sooner, we'd be about 2 steps ahead. So.
Okay, great. So you and Stephanie's story is fairly similar, not in the sense that her spouse told her to do it. If so, I haven't heard that part of the story. But Stephanie, you've been in the business for how long now?
17 years.
Nice.
Okay, you guys are like twinners. And at some point, Parminder, you decided that I don't want to just sell real estate. I want to invest in real estate. Did that come prior to getting licensed or after the fact?
We tried one before I was licensed, right before the crash. As soon as we were lucky to receive the 10th lottery ticket in winning that Lennar home, the market plummeted. And so we saw that thing go down the tube. We held on to it for many years, but then saw the reward of actually holding on to it. But I didn't start investing until I was licensed in 2008. And then I was helping clients build, many, many doors and millions in equity, and then realized that I should do that and overcome my fear and start, putting doors together and equity for the family.
Amazing. Stephanie, how does that compare to your story? You and your husband James are incredible investors, have built an amazing portfolio. Is that similar to your story? Is you kind of toyed with it a little bit and then you jumped right in after you realized just how big that opportunity was?
Yep, almost identical. I was an investor before I was a real estate agent, and was not good as an investor until I became a real estate agent. Same story. We had our first investment property that we purchased and tried to sell right before the crash, ended up holding on to it for a very long time. That was the best lesson that we learned, was the reminder that real estate is a long-term investment. If you're looking for the turn and burn, you may be very disappointed. But it forced us to hold on to that property and then forced us to see the long-term gains and returns. And when we changed our mindset on that, we said, this still makes sense. This is still a good move. Let's start buying things now, because even when it goes up and down, it will always eventually go up.
Yeah.
Parminder, you've now taken it to another level, as has Stephanie, right? Where you invest regularly and consistently, what advice would you have for a real estate agent, maybe who's at a point where they're getting into the business or they've been in the business, but it's like, you know what, I've made pretty good money and I really need to start investing. What would you say would be a starting point for them?
The key thing is to remember, I think, Justin, and this is what I tell not just realtors and clients in general, is if you don't do it for you, nobody else will. You don't count on the government being there for your retirement plan. You just have to do it. And if realtors don't believe in the product they're trying to sell and helping others build wealth and their clients, their investors, why wouldn't they do that for themselves? What's wrong with our product? You know what I mean? It's one of those, drug dealers don't do the drugs, right? But realtors should do the drug of real estate. I mean, that's just really what it is. There's so many upsides to it. So just
love
do
that
it.
analogy.
Yeah, that's a great perspective. Stephanie, what would you add to that?
Well, Parminder, have you been in a situation where you've found inventory for yourself through your daily activities as a real estate agent?
100%.
Tell us about that process.
We closed on 2 homes last week. There were probate sales on the market. We were able to negotiate a fair price, and we closed on those. And actually, being in the business as a realtor, one of our office agents came to me saying, "Hey, my family, wants to sell a house. We're going to go to market. However, they would prefer not to mess with the tenant. Would you be interested in buying?" So we're closing on that house this week while we are on vacation in Disneyland. So we're working on that right now. So yes, you do get things that come your way by being in the business. Our first big one, I would say, that we bought was 9 units. And being in the business, the neighbor reached out, saw me there working, and said, "Hey, Parminder, I know the seller is elderly. It was 93. Would you be interested in buying those 9 units?" They were beat up, torn down, and need a lot of work, but we did it. So yes, being in the business exposes you to a lot of opportunities. Mm-hmm. I don't put myself ahead of my clients. So if it's for them, it's for them. I don't, because there's always, I understand now that there are many more deals every day coming around the corner. You just have to be willing to participate.
Yeah.
One thing that I think is important to point out again, I think, is when people try and run 2 businesses, they typically do neither of them very well. The beautiful thing about what you just described, Parminder, is that while you're actively serving your clients, there's certain opportunities for them that are not a good fit, right?
Absolutely.
And because you're in the same business, you've just found 2 ways to monetize it. You found one way to monetize it in the short term, and then one way to monetize it in the long term.
Yes. And that's the thing is, you may do a sale, which benefits the client, but then they don't want to buy a beat up house. Like, well, the two that we bought last week, we're going to gut those things. And so most people aren't in a position to do it. Or as realtors, we're exposed to so many different types of financing that we come across. The ones that I bought last week were purely 100% financed by my clients that I'd sold properties for. They had cash sitting there. So rather than just sitting in the bank, losing money, they loaned it to me, and, we moved the project forward.
So the key really is, Parminder, is people are seeing you as more than just someone who can help them buy and sell real estate. They're also viewing you as an investor. They're viewing you as an asset to either their portfolio or someone that can bring a solution to a problem that they have. So how have you changed the mindset of your clients and of your audience to think of you as more than just someone that can help them buy and sell real estate?
Right. Well, when they see you actually in the business flipping property or renovating property, they look at you as a resource. So now you can provide more value. I mean, I know what's behind the sheetrock. I know what's behind the paint. I know what's behind the stove. So all those things, they'll call me. My clients will call me, "Hey, I need a plumber. I need an electrician. I need a roofer. What do I do? Solar, I'm buying that. Should I do it?" So you become, I think, a more valuable resource for your clients. You have a higher value proposition for people, even first-time buyers. They see you're in it. You have their best interest at heart.
Yeah. So the simple short answer is show them.
Show them.
Show them what you're doing, right? I mean, I follow your Instagram, you are always showing people what you're up to.
Yes.
And has that caused someone to say, hey, Parminder, I love what you're doing. How can you help me do it too?
Yes, I have. So on a daily basis, people reaching out saying, hey, I want to participate in the American dream. And that's what I push a lot as an immigrant to the country. I was able to really see firsthand, and I'm seeing firsthand, and I haven't even scratched the surface. The dream is so big in America and it's still alive and well. And that's what I really try to push is don't listen to the media. They're trying to dilute out what this dream is all about, and it's whatever you want it to be. It's the pursuit of happiness, whatever makes you happy. It doesn't have to be real estate, but as long as you're not letting the media slow you down.
You know, I've been raised on the phrase that more is caught than taught, right? And the thing I love about what both of you do is that you show your clients what it looks like to invest in real estate, right? Plenty of real estate classes out there, but it's rare to find somebody who you can find that is currently that can sell you real estate and who can tell you firsthand experience, right?
Right.
I think you should invest in this, and because here's why. Here's my experience,
Yeah.
right? And I think people really absorb that differently than just taking a course or even watching somebody, learning from somebody who's great at investing, but they can't buy real estate from them. Right. I think that it creates such an incredible dynamic when you can go to somebody who is regularly looking at deals in your market and can guide you because they're an investor in the in that market as well. I think it's a tremendous advantage that you guys bring to the consumers that you serve.
I think, Stephanie, if you agree, we have to lead by example. That's the key thing is, don't tell people to buy real estate because it benefits you on commission side. Is you should be teaching how to buy real estate to either realtors or your clients because it is an overall benefit to everybody involved. And so that I think that lead by example really helps, send the message home to people and saying, look, he's doing it. He's accomplishing something with it. And I know people that have much bigger dreams. I mean, I've got somebody I know who wants 1,000 doors. And I've got one client, he's 32 years old. Nothing special, regular country bumpkin. He's up to 34 doors. He brings in about 34,000 a month. He has 17,000, 16,000 in mortgage. He's 32. He can retire bringing in $17,000, $18,000 a month. How many people can say that?
That is amazing. In his 30s.
Yeah, 32. He's young. He started exactly 10 years ago this past February. And he's just a regular guy, just doing it regular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his dad was a truck driver. He's retired his dad already at age 60. His dad doesn't work. So it's the story of real estate is so, I don't know. I always call it the American dream. It is so big, you can make it whatever you want. And like I say, think bigger real estate. Well, there's a story that showcases just a regular guy doing amazing things.
Yeah. And I love how you bring that back to be a believer in your product.
Mm-hmm.
You're a real estate agent. You want to be showing that you believe that real estate is part of the path to the American dream, or real estate is part of the path to wealth. I know I have clients that will come to me and say, is now even a good time to buy? Is it a good time to be in real estate? And when I can say, I just picked up another property a couple weeks ago, or like you, I'm going to close on another property next week while on vacation with my family in Disneyland. That is the dream. So you're showing that if I can do it, so can you. And if I'm doing it, so should you.
Yes, exactly. I agree with that 100%. And it's not like there's not chaos. We live as realtors that are selling a lot of real estate, and I'm doing the investing side. It's a controlled chaos, and sometimes uncontrolled. But I always say to people, do what rich people do. If you want to experience the American dream, you want to get ahead in life, copy the rich people. Mm-hmm. Because they are, no matter markets going up, markets going down, they are constantly buying and selling real estate. And 90% of millionaires are created through real estate. I mean,
Yeah.
What else is there to discuss, right? How do I get on board?
Right.
So I've got a question, Parminder. You, I'm sure, have run into a number of different challenges as you began to be
Yeah.
a real estate agent who invested, right? Maybe there were mindset and maybe there was some skill set. Would you walk us through just a couple of the mindset shifts that people need to have, or some of the barriers they're going to run into, and maybe
Sure.
how you overcame that, right? Because I'm sure you were like, man, do I have time for this? Are my
Right.
clients going to feel like there's a conflict of interest because we're both investors in the marketplace? Like, what's going to get in people's way? And then let's walk them through how to overcome that.
The number one thing is fear. I've boiled down everything that I've limited myself to. A limiting belief is always, when you break it down, it's always been fear is the biggest thing. Is I'm scared I'll lose money. What if something goes wrong? The toilet gets clogged at night, and we come up with all these, and I was guilty of that, is coming up with all these excuses as to why it wasn't a good fit for me. And while my clients are making millions of dollars over here in growing their equity, not millions a month, they're not making, it's a slow growth process, but as their real estate grows over the years, they're building all this equity. And I started looking at that and saying, if they're doing it and listening to me buying real estate, why am I not? You just have to overcome the fear. Second thing is to hang around people that are actually doing it. Don't listen to Uncle Bob and Fred over here that never have bought real estate, or they live in an apartment. Those are not the people you want to talk to about trying to grow well. You got to hang around people like ourselves and realtors that are doing it. Not even your average realtor, because if they don't own their own home or they don't own real estate, they don't understand the problems that you go through on a daily basis. And that was so mindset, fear, overcoming the fear, then learning the benefits of owning real estate. And then step by step, hanging around people that are doing it, that will get you past. That's the biggest mindset. And now a deal, I don't get fearful. You become more of a numbers driven person, saying, okay, does this pencil out? Does it not pencil out? And, pass, take the deal, pass on it. And it might work for somebody else that wants to do, it's got different money. They're just parking capital versus financing. When you start understanding how deals are done, it gets easier. Challenges, oh my gosh, challenges on a daily basis, right? Tenant moves out, you got to get it rented out again. It was damaged, you got to fix the stuff. But we call it passive, but it's not a passive business. It's an active business. You have to be involved. Stephanie, right? I'm sure you don't just sit back and collect a rent check at the end of the month, right? There's always something going on. You're making sure properties are maintained, the landscaper went out, the pool's clean, the windows aren't broken. There's all those kind of things. So it's not for the faint of heart, but you can get used to it. Mm-hmm. It's like anything.
And as real estate agents, we're probably already used to that lifestyle, right? My husband always says, real estate investing is not passive. That dishwasher will leak at 10 o'clock at night on your birthday when you're out of town.
Yep.
Inevitably, that will happen. So if we're a real estate agent, we're already used to putting out those fires and dealing with that type of crisis for our clients. Right. So why not do it for ourselves? And when we do it for ourselves, now we are seen as such a resource and an example to our clients that want to do it. Because when their dishwasher starts leaking at 10 o'clock at night on their birthday when they're out of town, now they know, oh, I've got that real estate agent that is also going through this. They probably have some solutions for my problem.
Absolutely. That's the same thing. Lead by example. They see you doing it. They go through the issue. They'll deal with it too. Mm-hmm. And if realtors in general are a tough breed of people, we're a tough breed. You have to be. It's a tough business. And when you start that investor side, it makes you even better, and it helps you troubleshoot unrelated problems in selling real estate in different fields as well. It just makes you a better, well-rounded realtor as well.
So you talked about some of the mindset, right? Really overcoming that fear and being around other people who are doing it helps you to overcome that, right? And then just starting to do it. What about the skill set? You'd mentioned something about understanding the numbers. What for an agent that's listening to this, that's saying like, okay, I've got the capital. I think I can overcome the fear of doing it. what's the best way to really start to understand the numbers of real estate investing? Do you have any insight for them on that?
Sure. So let's say it's total expense minus, from your total income, how much you left with at the end of the day. So let's say your mortgage, taxes, insurance, everything is $1,000. You make $1,100 in rent, you're making $100. Even though you may not, because you can have repairs and things like that. So let's just say it's a complete wash, $0 made. But wait, I have earned income on this side where I'm paying Uncle Sam 30 and 40% of my taxable income. So let's say you made $100,000, you're going to pay $40,000 to Uncle Sam. So now your taxable income will be decreased by depreciating the asset, the house or the multi-family or whatever you choose to invest in. You're going to depreciate your taxable income. So you have savings on that side. The value of the property goes up as well over time, which you can then refinance to pull money out should you need it. So, and guess what? Rents are going up every year. So if you're not cash flowing, I'm not the biggest advocate of, it's not making $500 a door. It doesn't make sense to me. If I like to do value add property. So if it's a distressed property, we'll get financing in place. We'll fix it up. We'll turn a $600 a month rent, which we just closed on earlier this year. We bought 7 units and they're average about $600 a door. Well, one person had moved out. We're fully renovating, so investing capital into it. Now we're going to bump that rent to $1,700 a month. So that's one of the units. Can you imagine when all 7 are renovated? So it's the long play. You got to go long on real estate. Yes, I mean, we've flipped property. We've done all that stuff. Yes, you make some money. Uncle Sam takes a big chunk of it. But where are you going to finally put that money so it's actually working for you when you're not working?
Yeah, I actually saw something today that said that rent increases have outpaced inflation by, it was a small amount, but still outpaced by 1.4% higher than inflation. So when everything is going up, rents are going up at the same pace as inflation and actually a little bit more. So if you want to inflation proof your money, real estate investing seems like the best way to be doing that right now.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was what's his name? Patrick Bet-David was commenting the other day. Inflation benefits those who have assets. Mm-hmm. So if you own something and the value, the houses are going up and everything's going up, guess what? You own an asset. It goes up in value. If you just have, doodads, as Robert Kiyosaki says, you just have junk. I mean, that's not going to help you any. And so the fact that you bought the asset, you will help yourself and your family over the years to come. But it is a long play. So like I said, we bought property where we're making 0 on the deal. Mm-hmm. We know we're going to go in and we're going to renovate. Of course, I would say that's more for the seasoned person you may want to plug and play property right out of the gate, unless you've got a good stomach for it. And then you fix it up, you rent it out, and it should cover, well, you know what? Let me give you an example. My assistant, Kathy, she's behind that door over there, sold her home in Clovis. We were buying some property and the duplex was part of that package. So she opted to buy that package, that duplex, and it was bringing in about $800 or $900 per door. One person moved out. She renovated it, spent $24,000 or $25,000. Now is getting $1,500 a month. And when we had the property appraised, it actually came in $40,000 higher than what she bought it for. If we were to sell it today, she would significantly come out on the equity side on it.
Wow.
And so, then the other side moved out. That rent went up. So it's a nice. If I could cash flow like her on every property, I'd be golden. I'd be happy. I could do that all day long. And so sometimes you get a good one. Sometimes it takes 6 months.
It's so great that you've been able to learn these skills and pass this knowledge on to so many other people, because you have an abundance mindset and your clients appreciate that. Absolutely. That you're not keeping every deal for yourself. Yeah. You're helping them also learn these skills.
We could never do every deal that came my way. I've got 6 commercial units listed for a client. He said, Parminder, I want to sell it on the down low. I don't want to make too much noise. I don't want the tenants to know. And guess what? I've got a line of 2-3 buyers already looking at it. So I would like to have bought it. It's a 10% cap. I would love to buy a 10% cap. I don't have the bandwidth right now. And so my clients do. So I'm going to go down the list on who wants to buy it. There's always, God provides an abundance for those that want to work. And I always say want to work and get after it. Sitting at home eating bonbons is not going to cut it. And I've lived the easy lifestyle, worked at a job. I was an environmental chemist. I worked in a lab with the lab jacket and the goggles and everything for 12 years. But it was a job. There was you couldn't do a side hustle like investing in real estate. And then eventually it becomes your main thing, right? You're selling and then you're investing too. You're doing things. And you will have to endure the headaches and the late hours and all that stuff until you get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stephanie, what's obviously your real estate, both selling and investing journey has been extremely successful as well. If you could ask Parminder one thing about like things that he's learned, what would it be? Like as you contemplate the success that he's had, is there something you're curious about as you contemplate how you continue to accelerate your own investor path, both in doing it for yourselves as well as inspiring other people to do it? Anything stand out to you?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to make this a 2-part because we have a question from someone in the audience asking about that. What's the best path to get into your first investment property? So I'd love to hear from Parminder. What's the best way? How do you educate your clients on the best path to get into your first property? And then what I would like to learn from you, and probably a lot of people in the audience that are already investing, is now you've gotten your feet wet. When do you know where to level up in your risk tolerance onto some different properties?
Wow. The first property is you got to know for realtors. Is this for realtors? So
let's go realtors, but really anyone that wants to invest.
Sure. So if you're a realtor, and I saw the question was, in Toronto, of course, that's a very hot market, is you're going to have to really, work through the weeds there, right? That's a hard market, but there's still investors doing stuff, right? So I would say if they have like meetups about investors, there's wholesalers selling property. So is that the way? Maybe have your own marketing plan. Drive for dollars. Look for distressed properties and see if these sellers are looking to sell. So there's always different ways. Drive for dollars. Send out mailers. Here's an easy one. Post on social media. I am looking to buy a house cash. Have hard money financing lined up for yourself, so it's not your money. Have some down payment set up, and then just let people know you're actually looking. That's some of the craziest thing, and I don't even post it enough, but I know guys that post it all the time. I will buy houses for cash. I'm going to start posting that because it attracts. Let's say there's a distressed property. You may get that one. There's a probate. There was a death in the family. Somebody just wants to dump it. They have a bad tenant. They just don't. For example, the one we're buying this week, they just wanted to get out of the tenant game and being in the right place, right time. So line up the finances, know your tolerance, and then start advertising that you want a deal. Call the wholesalers. Call other realtors in your office. Say, look, I'm really looking for my first investment property. And then the second part, Stephanie, you said?
How do you level up your game? If you own a few properties, maybe some single family, kind of easy slam dunks, and now someone's saying, I want to get into multifamily or commercial. How do they get over that hesitation around leveling up their risk tolerance?
Copy what rich people do. Everybody, you start with one house saying, okay, so how hard is a duplex? It's like 2 houses.
Mm-hmm.
What's a fourplex? It's just 4 units. It's just, instead of buying one, I look at it, this is how I overcame it myself, is one, I have one loan to do if I'm financing 3 or 4 units. It's the same headache as buying one house. So why not buy 3 or 4 at the same time? And guess what? Sometimes there is, actually most of the time, it's a better buy per door. A house you're going to pay in our market $350,000, $400,000 for a rental house, whereas you might be able to buy 4 units for 650 to 800,000. So the economy of scale. If you understand how it works, it makes it a little bit easier. And so that's the easy way. Is just look at the numbers and then hang around with people that are doing it. I think anybody with an abundance mindset, if they have an abundant mindset, they will tell you how to do it. And then it's all down to the law of attraction, right? I really want this to happen for me and my family. Not, I want to do it to show the neighbors that I've made it or I've got real estate. No, do it for yourself with the right intention and things will happen.
I want to point something out for those that follow Parminder. You'll notice that he has a beautiful Lamborghini, and we had a conversation about this before because you just mentioned something that's important. You talked about the power of the American dream and being able to pursue that. For you, this Lamborghini makes you happy, right? It's maybe a sign to yourself that like, hey, this is the fruit of doing this right, of earning an active recurring income stream, I'll call it. That allows me to drive what I've always dreamed of driving, right? Yeah. And some people might be turned off by that.
Sure.
But I think what you shared with us before is that, it's not for them. That's fine if they want to be upset by it. But this car is for me, right? And I think sometimes that same principle applies to people getting into real estate, people who getting into investing in real estate. It's like, is this like what I want to do? Is this the best thing for me? Right. And I would say if anybody who doesn't support what's in the best interests of you is in essence not supporting you, and they're just somebody that's all of a sudden not that important to you, right? And so I don't know if you want to speak to that at all as to how maybe people overcome that fear of judgment, whether it be because of the activities that they're doing or the result that they get, right? Which is true wealth. Right. Give us some insight on that.
Yeah, it was hard for me. I mean, I don't have a bucket list other than I've accomplished it. I had one thing since age 4. I wanted to drive a Lamborghini. I mean, I fell in love with the brand as a baby and never thought in my wildest dreams I would even ride in one, let alone own one. And so when the time came, we kept investing. And like a lot of realtors for the past few years, worked like a dog, 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day, holidays, weekend, you name it, went for it. 100% invested in the career of helping other people accomplish great things. And in the process, had that mind shift to invest for myself and our family. And so the car, when we bought it, what month are we in? April. We bought it in late September of last year. Okay. And the only reason I bought it now was because Lamborghini was trying to electrify a little bit like they've done with the 12-cylinder one. This one was slated to be electrified, and I didn't want that. Even a little bit, I wanted pure natural aspiration. That was my dream. But I was really torn because what will people think? What will people think that Parminder, our realtor's driving around in a Lamborghini? He gets paid too much. He makes too much money. But when you look at it, it's not, because I'm doing the same as other realtors. It's just maybe a different volume and been wise with delayed gratification and putting that money away and investing in real estate. And we've had the market appreciation. And it's a lifestyle. I would say I spoke to a very high producing realtor out of, I think he's in Toronto, DK. I asked him at a Mike Ferry event, I said, hey, DK, man, I know you had a Lamborghini, but I don't see it on your page anymore. And he gave me the advice, Parminder, live for you. Serve your clients, but live for you. He had gotten rid of his first car. I think it was an Audi R8, which is, the equivalent. And he regretted it because what other people thought and said. Not other people, what said. They made comments. I don't care. Because the dream is mine, not anybody else's. My job is to help others accomplish their dreams while also trying to enjoy my dream too. And I've actually, the car, now I bought it for me, but now we're using it for marketing as well. So it's become synonymous with my brand as well. So I help the Lamborghini helps draw attention to my sellers' listings. It brings more attention to real estate, and it is countless smiles on little kids' faces. How many kids have taken pictures inside that car with their parents? They roll, hey, do you mind if the kid takes a picture with the car? I let him get in there, take a picture. You want to start the car? Feel the vroom on it. You know, I never got that as a kid, so I'm happy to share that car, my dream, with other people's, and, you know, motivate them to do bigger things as well. And right now, I talked to my wife last week about maybe I want to sell the car now or soon, because I think I lost a little bit of my hustle. It wasn't about accomplishing it. It was the hustle to get there. And so maybe I need to sell it and get my, step up my hustle for a bigger dream. I don't know.
Well, that's so common of anyone that thinks bigger, which is exactly who we like to be talking with. You accomplish a goal, you reach your dream, you just set another one and set one that's bigger. And I've heard you mention a lot that you're doing this for you and for your family and for that benefit. Tell us a little bit more about how your family has been able to benefit from, of course, your real estate hustle, but your real estate hustle has then allowed you to be a very successful investor. How has that changed the lives of you and your family? I
think the biggest thing and the happiest moment I had was December of, 24, 22, when I was able to send my wife and kids to India. And I wasn't, because it was kind of a short notice trip that they went, and I didn't go, but it was like, do whatever you want. It's okay. And then the whole family went to Europe, back to my birthplace of Nottingham in England. We went to London and Paris last year in April, May. And we didn't have to worry about where we're going to eat, where we're going to stay. It was, and this isn't to brag, don't get me wrong, this isn't to brag. It was the first time in my life I ever experienced not having to worry about, we got to get an Uber. It wasn't, we got to spend money on this. It wasn't where we were budgeted. We were okay. That was, I think, man, how do I bring a tear to my eye if I start talking too much about it? It was just a huge relief, overcoming that fear. And then I understood what my clients are going through as well, that the ones that are investing, that I'm able to position them into a lifestyle that they weren't accustomed to. And you have to be happy for yourself. Give thanks to God, have gratitude, and give back, of course. You've got to, we fully believe in tithing and all the sharing what we've been blessed to have. That was, I think, the biggest thing is, and of course, our kids will get out of college debt free. Wow. They're both in nursing school right now, and so to know they won't be burdened with that debt is immense relief, because it is hard right now. So these things you can provide for your family. I've had people retire their parents. I've had people put their kids through school, buy their parent a house. I've had clients do that too. So those wins really motivate me to do more with myself as well as my clients in that field.
I'm really inspired by this, and I can see why Stephanie was so adamant that we invite you onto the podcast. Again, Think Bigger Real Estate is about thinking bigger than real estate. And what you just described is a beautiful life that has come about because of real estate, right? That you've been able to take real estate and turn it into not just success for yourself, but significance, meaning finding success for other people and through other people. Right. And it's a beautiful thing. And I hope that everybody that's listening to this, that your dreams are a little more inspired, and that you recognize that there's a path. If you're living in this amazing country, yes, or one that has maybe similar opportunities, there is an opportunity for you. It does take some discipline and surrounding yourself. And I've heard you say this multiple times, Parminder, is that it takes surrounding yourself with people who are doing it and believe that you can and believe that you should. And I think we feel very strongly that, your net worth is determined by your network.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right people around you, you're simply one skill set away, one conversation away from, and one connection away from having somebody who can help you to do this. Somebody like Parminder, someone, like Stephanie, who can really help you to start to unlock your dreams. And it's fun to hear this comment from our guests. I'm so happy listening. Anyway, we will be sure and find you, Bhavesh, somebody in Toronto that has a similar approach as these two amazing agents and investors. So, Stephanie, any final questions before we kind of go to the final question? Anything you want to add?
Honestly, I think if I ask another question, I might end up getting teared up as well. I feel so inspired and so moved by what you're saying, Parminder, and I'm just so grateful to have you on. It's really made me even think bigger than I was, and that's the greatest gift, is to reach a place of freedom, and freedom looks different to everyone. And that's what you're saying, is to reach that place of freedom, financial freedom or time freedom, or whatever that is, to be able to say yes when someone has a need, when your family has a need, or someone that you love or want to support, or maybe even someone that you don't know has a need. You're positioned to say yes, and you don't have to hesitate. You don't have to check the balance of the bank account. And if something were to change in your life that caused you to not be able to sell real estate anymore, you know that you and your family are taken care of.
Yeah.
And that is just the greatest accomplishment that I personally feel like anyone in the real estate industry can attain. And I love that you're an example of that. That's why we wanted to have you here, because like you said, surround yourself with the people that are doing it. And you've brought exactly that to everyone that's listening, and to Justin and I. We're grateful for that.
My pleasure. No, it's an honor to be on the podcast and learn from you guys as well. And so it's just association, right? Who you hang around with determines where you're going to end up.
Every time, like clockwork, which leads me to my last question, Parminder, which is, you are a big thinker. You're somebody who wants not just a successful business, but a significant life. Give us maybe one habit or practice that you have that helps you to be able to continue to develop that and progress and grow yourself towards a successful business and a significant life. What does it look like for you?
I don't want to be cliche. I will always give thanks to God and praise God and meditate in the morning and help ground yourself. Ground myself in the morning and know that, we're just here for a little blimp, right? We're not here for very long. And even though our ego gets in the way, the biggest thing is I think for me, is to keep my ego out of it as much as possible and just keep myself grounded and push forward. And the biggest thing, I went to a Tony Robbins event when I felt, I'm sure we've all gone through it, right? You feel this thing that I feel the next level. Where am I going? But I was in a bit of a fog, a cloud. I went to that event in San Jose a few years ago, Unleash the Power Within. And to overcome my own self-limiting beliefs. You can accomplish it. And from that, one thing I learned in there was how to accomplish and overcome your limiting beliefs. And we just push forward. I don't know if that answers the question or not, is you have to overcome your own fears.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we feel very strongly, similar to you, is that a strong spiritual life is the foundation of all good things. And then, to begin to unlock the mind is a powerful step that God would want us to take. So appreciate you sharing that. Stephanie, any final words? Should we wrap it up?
Parminder, where can everyone find you? We want to continue to follow your journey.
On Instagram, even on Facebook, Parminder_the_Realtor. So if you type Parminder the Realtor, you should be able to find me. I'm located in Fresno County. I live in a small town of Kingsburg of about 12,000 people. It's known as the Swedish Village. So easy to find.
I love it.
Awesome. And yeah, it looks like we have a referral opportunity for you already that came in. So we'll get you connected with that. And I love what you're doing on Instagram right now. It's where can you find Parminder around town? That's an awesome you're doing in your community. So very good, very fun to follow your journey and see where it's going to take you next.
Yeah, I'm having fun. We're going to Disneyland and we're giving away Disneyland tickets if you can find my van.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, our final request of everybody listening here today, thanks to the great example by these two incredible agents, are these three simple words, and they are go think bigger. Thank you, Parminder, for helping us do that again today. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, guys.